In the mountains of Henan province, a stone tower rises from the mist. 700 years old, perfectly preserved. It's not a temple, not a fortress. It's an astronomical observatory, and for centuries it held the key to something far more valuable than predicting eclipses. It was built to calculate the exact moment when humans could cheat death itself. This is the story of how China's search for eternal life accidentally created the most destructive weapon in human history, how emperors died chasing immortality, and how the stars became a recipe for poison. The year is 144 BCE. The Han Emperor Wu issues a decree that will echo through millennia. Anyone caught creating counterfeit gold will be executed immediately. No trial. Death. On the surface, economic protection. But that's not what this was about. In ancient China, gold wasn't just metal. It was the foundation of the golden elixir, the substance believed to grant eternal life. The decree wasn't protecting coins, it was protecting cosmic knowledge. Chinese alchemists believed that gold created through transformation was purer than natural gold. Dead matter versus living metal touched by heaven. Creating alchemical gold required understanding, when stars aligned, when planetary forces merged, when the heavens opened windows that appeared once in generations. The emperor couldn't allow just anyone to access the divine. The real power didn't sit on the throne. It resided in those who could read the stars. And here's the irony that changed world history. While trying to create immortality elixirs, Chinese alchemists accidentally discovered gunpowder. They were heating saltpeter, sulfur, and charcoal in sealed vessels, trying different cosmic timings to perfect the elixir, and the mixture exploded. The search for eternal life gave us one of history's most destructive inventions. Thousands of experiments aimed at cheating death instead created a weapon that would kill millions. That's the scale of what we're dealing with. An obsession so powerful, it reshaped civilization by accident. Creating the golden elixir required absolute precision. The alchemists weren't mixing chemicals hoping for magic. They were conducting astronomy with their hands. The practice was called Weidon, external alchemy. The ingredients were deadly: cinnabar, mercury, arsenic, lead, realgar. Poisons that destroy the nervous system and shut down organs. But alchemists believed that at specific cosmic moments, during precise planetary alignments, when stars cross specific celestial mansions, these toxics could transform into divine medicine. An hour too early, you created death. An hour too late, the window closed. This is where astronomical observatories became essential. The alchemical texts weren't recipe books, they were star maps in code. The Cantong Qi, written during the Eastern Han period, describes creating elixirs synchronized with lunar phases. When the text says combine lead and mercury, it's not just talking about substances. Lead represented yin, the moon. Mercury represented yang, the sun. The marriage had to occur when the actual celestial bodies were in harmony. Every ingredient corresponded to a constellation, a planetary position, a lunar phase. The process was an attempt to bottle the cosmos itself. By the Tang Dynasty, around the 8th century CE, China had built some of the most advanced astronomical infrastructure in the world. The instruments were extraordinary. The armillary sphere, a skeletal globe of bronze rings, 6 feet in diameter, could track celestial coordinates with accuracy that wouldn't be matched in Europe for 500 years. The gnomon at Gaocheng Observatory, a 40-foot-tall stone column, cast shadows across a measuring scale 120 feet long. It measured the sun's position with precision down to 3 millimeters. That's less than the width of a pencil. At that accuracy, astronomers could determine the exact length of the solar year, predict eclipses months in advance, and calculate the precession of Earth's axis. Medieval Chinese astronomers knew the planet wobbled. They measured it. These weren't decorative. They were precision calculation machines. And they had a secret purpose. The official story was agriculture. Calendars for planting seasons. Eclipse predictions to prevent panic. But these observatories had another function never publicly acknowledged. They were timing immortality. The Beijing Observatory could track all 5 visible planets. Each planet was an ingredient in their recipe for death. And here's what makes this extraordinary. These observatories formed a network. Tang and Song dynasties positioned stations at specific latitudes and longitudes across the empire. By triangulating observations from multiple locations, they could pinpoint celestial events with incredible precision. The entire Chinese empire was a continental-scale observatory designed to ensure no cosmic window for immortality would ever be missed. Among emperors who believed in this, Xuanzang of the Tang dynasty was the most devoted. Brilliant, cultured, ruling during China's golden age. But obsessed, he expanded imperial observatories while funding secret alchemical laboratories. Astronomers and Taoist masters worked together, unified by one goal: determining the precise moment when the golden elixir could succeed. The emperor's logic was impeccable. Previous attempts failed due to imperfect timing. Better instruments, better timing, success. Xuanzang consumed elixirs for 15 years. Early ones made him feel energized, proof the method was sound. But effects changed. Energy became agitation. His organs began failing. Still, he continued. The astronomers assured him the timing was correct. He died at 77. Mercury poisoning. The man who controlled the most sophisticated astronomical knowledge in the world couldn't control his death. And he wasn't alone. Between Tang and Ming dynasties, at least 6 emperors died from elixirs. Emperor Shenzong, Emperor Wuzong, Emperor Xuanzong, Emperor Muzong, Emperor Shenzong, Emperor Guangzong. Different centuries, same pattern. Astronomers calculated perfect moments. Alchemists prepared elixirs by ancient texts. Emperors consumed under astrologically perfect conditions, then died. The pattern repeated across generations. No one stopped it. After each death, the texts remained unchanged. No formulas rewritten, no calculations revised. As if the deaths didn't matter. Next time would be more precise. Then during Song Dynasty, something changed abruptly. Alchemists abandoned external alchemy entirely. No more toxic metals, no more astronomical timing for physical elixirs. The search moved inward. The practice became Niden, internal alchemy. Instead of mixing cinnabar and mercury, practitioners worked with Jing, Qi, and Shen. Essence, energy, spirit. 3 treasures existing within every human body. The transformation happened inside through meditation, breath control, visualization. Zhang Boduan wrote Awakening to Reality in the 11th century, describing this with same precision earlier texts used for external alchemy. But now, no risk of poison, only difficulty of meditation. The observatories became irrelevant overnight. When alchemy moved inside, cosmic timing stopped mattering. The massive towers, bronze instruments, networks consuming imperial resources for centuries, all obsolete. Not destroyed, just unnecessary. Today, those observatories still stand. Gaocheng Observatory, Beijing Ancient Observatory, Dengfeng Platform, 800, 1,000 years old. Tourists visit, photograph instruments. Guidebooks explain historical importance. Almost none mention alchemy. Almost none explain these structures' timed creation of substances that killed emperors. The technology is genuinely impressive. Medieval Chinese astronomers predicted planetary positions months ahead. Calculated eclipses. Their instruments demonstrate sophisticated observational astronomy. And yet emperors died. Every calculation correct. Every instrument calibrated. The science was flawless. The premise that cosmic timing could transmute poison into immortality, completely wrong. We live in an age still believing technology solves mortality. Cryogenics, life extension therapies, digital consciousness uploads, gene editing. Methods change, but impulse remains. Death as problem to engineer away. Ancient emperors consumed mercury under perfect astronomical conditions. We fund radical life extension research, methods different, underlying assumption eerily similar. But there's one interpretation historians rarely discuss. What if elixirs worked? Not as emperors expected, but according to deeper Taoist belief they didn't understand? Taoist tradition speaks of Xian, immortals transcending physical existence. What if deaths weren't failures, but transformations? Emperors died physically, records confirm. But if transition occurs while body saturates with elixir under perfect cosmic conditions, perhaps spirit doesn't just die. Perhaps it's refined, launched into another existence. In this reading, observatories calculated perfectly. But for purpose, emperors never grasped. Deaths weren't errors. They were formula, working as designed. China built the most sophisticated medieval observatories. Stone and bronze outlasting dynasties. Built to calculate when toxic metals transformed into immortality. Emperors died repeatedly, consuming elixirs under perfect cosmic conditions. The observatories worked with stunning precision. The question is what they really calculated. Physical immortality that never arrived? Or something else entirely? The towers stand on mountain peaks, instruments pointing at unchanging sky. Same stars Tang astronomers watched. And if you visit at dawn, when light hits stone right, when mist rises from valleys, some say you feel something. Not emperors. They're gone. But something else. A presence waiting. Still watching for when stars align perfectly, when the next seeker arrives, ready to discover what the elixir really does.